What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome. Getting buzzed. I'm Howard Bender, your host. And thank you so much for tuning into the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. How about that intro? It is a new year. It is 2024. And oh, baby, we kick things off immediately with a brand new intro. Got to shout it out to my boy, Brian Burns, for putting together an absolutely spectacular intro. And oh, baby, do we have a show for you here today. My special guest today, the bass player for Umphrey's McGee. He also side gigs with Death Kings and Doom Flamingo. You know him, you love him. That's right. Ryan Stasik going to join us here a little later on. Big Notre Dame guy, big Steelers guy. So we're going to be talking with him. We're going to get some breakdowns and things like that. Before we start today's show, let me bring him in. My producer here, Adam Bernard, at Pucking Thoughts on the old Twitter machine or X or whatever you want to call it. Happy New Year, Adam. We are back. Getting Buzzed is here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. New year. You know, we're past the Happy New Year's, as Larry David's once pointed out here. We're what, on January 11th? I think we're past the Happy New Year's. Or were we still allowed?
I think we're still allowed because this is the first show of the new year. So I think we're all right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. But I won't say it after Monday.
Did you have a nice New Year's, Adam?
I did. It was nice. It was low-key holidays this year. Kid was home from school, so did all the dad stuff, hanging out, putting together toys from Christmas. It was nice. Watch some football, all that good stuff.
I was neck deep in football the entire time. I spent New Year's with a depressed, panic-stricken wife as Fish busts out the old Game Hen show on New Year's Eve, a show that, well, basically she and I have been chasing for like 30 years. And she was absolutely devastated by not getting that. So she was in a bit of a mood, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. It's tough when you want those concert tickets and you strike out on those really high demand shows. I feel you.
We could have gone, but I'll focus Fish, Sphere, Vegas, April. I'll be happy with that. And yeah, but it was pretty funny because, I've kind of gotten to that age, and you guys can see that by the gray in the beard and everything like that. But I've kind of gotten to that age where as a West Coaster right now, I appreciate celebrating New Year's with the East Coast, right? The show was at Madison Square Garden. By the time it was all over, it was like 10:30 our time here. And I was like, sweet, I can go to bed. I got to get up tomorrow morning and do a bunch of football stuff.
So the first year I moved here in 2016, I stayed up till midnight Pacific time. And when I realized they just replay the Times Square ball drop from 3 hours earlier, I said, I am never staying up for West Coast New Year's again. And we celebrate East Coast New Year's like you, and it works well.
It does work well. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Great to see everybody in here. Britt Flynn's here. Toronto Dave. Jerry Nelson. Sellers is here. What is going on? Listen, let's get to everything. Oh, look at Adam's like, peace out. Yeah, go ahead. Go stand over there. I'll talk here about what we've got going on. For those of you, if this is the first time you're joining Getting Buzzed, we are a sports talk show, but it's like sports with an edge. I don't want to just give you the cookie cutter stuff. There are no fantasy questions here. There are no playoff contest questions here. This is about fun. This is about having a good time, enjoying the world of sports as it's given to us. And what's better than reading the NFL script and seeing just how amazing the script writers have all done here with the NFL. I mean, come on. Wild Card Weekend. And can we just call it Wild Card Weekend? We don't need to call it Super Wild Card Weekend. We'll just keep it. Thank you. Thank you very much. But let's talk about the drama here. The drama, that's what it's all about. Yes, the games are going to be great, and I'm super excited for it. Teams that I'm rooting for. I've got previews that are going to publish after this show on fantasyalarm.com, one for each game. We've got all the DFS content over there. But I mean, the pieces that I want to focus on, right? Stafford versus Goff. Give me that Rams-Lions matchup. That's going to be incredible, right? For everybody who doesn't know or hasn't remembered, this is the revenge game for Jared Goff. It's Stafford going back home to Detroit, strutting around like a Super Bowl champion, ready to upset the apple cart in Motown and take down the Detroit Lions. And I guess I'm 100% here for it. I am 100% like this. To me is the game that has probably the most drama. Stafford versus Goff. You got Sean McVay versus Dan Campbell, and what an idiot Dan Campbell is. Listen, I don't care what any of you Lions faithful have to say. Dan Campbell had no business playing any of his starters in that final game. Yes, if Detroit won and Dallas and Philadelphia lost, guess what? Yes, then Detroit with their 4% chance to move up to the number 2 seed. That is not the reason that you play those starters. And I'm sorry, but watching Sam Laporta go down with a knee injury, I got to be honest, man, I think that that's the beginning of the end for the Detroit Lions. Sorry, Lions faithful, but I got the Rams in an upset here. More drama from the script writers. How about Tyreek Hill? Revenge game narrative. He goes into Kansas City. Now, everybody's sitting here looking at this game being like, oh, it's going to be so cold. It's going to be so cold. It's going to be so cold. Yeah. All right. 0-degree temperatures by the end of the game. Yeah, of course. With a wind chill that's going to put it at sub-zero temperatures. Yes. Welcome to the playoffs in Kansas City. This is not new. I'm not worried about, Tyreek Hill or, maybe I'm a little worried about Tua Tagovailoa and whatever he's going to do in the playoffs in this matchup. But listen, a cold game like this, a cold weather game, this definitely features the running game. And give me Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. I love Isaiah Pacheco, 100%. But Miami's run defense actually better than Kansas City's run defense. And then Mike McDaniel with this 1-2 punch, possibly even a 2A when you mix in Jeff Wilson there. So I could see a very heavy ground game because of this weather. But that's not to say that Tyreek isn't going to do Tyreek things. Sure, Andy Reid's going to be like, yeah, I know his tendencies. I know what we're going to do. Steve Spagnuolo is going to be like, yeah, I can stop that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Another upset in the making? I think so. Drama. Mike McCarthy playing his old team, the Green Bay Packers. I don't really know if this one's if this one's like really drama filled. Cowboys 8-0 at home, 7-1 against the spread. We know what they're all about. We know that you run against Green Bay, but Tony Pollard, I don't think we love him that much. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. We go through all of that. But you know what? As my friend Trace said when he called up on the Fantasy Alarm Show, he was like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the Cowboys couldn't possibly be upset, could they? They couldn't possibly be upset. Jordan Love, Summer of Love. When was the Summer of Love concert? 1967. Who won the Super Bowl in 1967? It was the Green Bay Packers. So that blew my boy Jim Bowden's mind. He was a little upset by that, but listen, worse things could be happening. I'll tell you what, I still think Dallas wins this game, and I've written it up as such, but nothing would make me happier than to watch a little something like this after the game.
Oh, my God, man. Oh, my God, man. Those are great people.
It's beautiful. This is beautiful, man.
You're going to hijack the show with this,
They
man.
in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Look at her. And look at the sister right there. That's my favorite one right there. She's looking at y'all ain't working there. That's what that look is. That's what that look is right there. Leave it to the sister to be real, right?
Thank you so much, ESPN, for that. And oh, baby, here we go. ESPN First Take. Want to give them credit for that. Stephen A. Smith. I might not like Stephen A. Smith on the whole, but I love Stephen A. Smith after a Cowboys loss. I love it. Like, that is the content that I'm here for. Let's see. What other drama do we have here for Wild Card Weekend? Cleveland versus Houston. Okay, so Really, Adam? Watson rubbed Houston the wrong way? Come on. That's the low-hanging fruit right there. Yeah. Thank you. I'm playing the room all evening. Try the veal. Listen, I don't think that there's really a whole lot of like actual on-field drama. If Deshaun Watson were playing, maybe. 100% maybe. But I got to tell you, this game here, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous for the Houston Texans. In my heart, I'm rooting for CJ Stroud. In my heart, I'm rooting for the Houston Texans. I love DeMeco Ryans. I love everything that they've turned around, the culture there in Houston. But I just don't know if they've got what it takes. Just in the sense that last week, we watched that Indianapolis Colts offensive line manhandle the Houston run defense. 227 rushing yards. That's what Jonathan Taylor and company put up on the Houston Texans. You don't run on the Houston Texans. Well, I'm sorry, but Cleveland's offensive line definitely equal, if not better, than that of the Indianapolis Colts. So do they manhandle? Do we see a lot of Jerome Ford? Do we see a lot of Kareem Hunt? Does that open it up for Joe Flacco? How does CJ Stroud respond? Like, if he had Tank Dell, I'd be like, yeah, I can dig that. I love a little Tank Dell. But it's Nico Collins. Noah Brown's got a back issue. Robert Woods is, old and broken like me. So not sure what he's got. And, while I love Dalton Schultz, the Cleveland Browns, one of the absolute best teams against the tight end, even after losing Grant Delpit to an injury. So this one could be interesting as well. And then, of course, we got the Year of the Dragon, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Bills Mafia. What are you going to do? And Najee Harris is running all over you. It's going to be a very interesting game here. But I got to be honest with you. It's going to be Josh Allen. He's going to put the team on his shoulders. Maybe he makes those mistakes. Maybe we see some turnovers from him. Of course, we're going to see some turnovers from him. But I can't get behind Mason Rudolph. 100%. I love the Year of the Dragon situation here. Shout out to my boy Josh Wagner for bringing that heat there. But yeah, I can't get through it. So listen, I love what we've got for Wild Card Weekend. That is going to make me smile. Now, other NFL news, maybe not making people smile. How about the coaching movement that we're seeing around the NFL? Today, it was officially announced that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are going to part ways. So that's number one right off the bat. Mike Vrabel out in Tennessee. Arthur Smith out in Atlanta. Thank you. Ron Rivera out in Washington. Pete Carroll out in Seattle. Right? So here we go. This is going to be an interesting one. And I'll say this, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Stop asking me about dynasty keepers or anything like that. I'm not worried about what's actually going on the field until the draft happens, until free agent movement happens, and until the coaches are all settled in. You show me where the coaches are going. You show me where the coordinators are going to be. That's when I want to dive into the analysis, because until I know what offensive scheme half these teams are running that are changing up coaches and coordinators, I can't make an assessment of it. I'm not going to trade away a wide receiver on a team that's bringing in a new coach. Just think about that. Think about how explosive Atlanta could be if they actually brought somebody in. So I want to see, where Ben Johnson goes. I want to see where Joe Brady goes. I want to see where Eric Bieniemy lands. I think those are the names that I want to follow, not all the old broken coaches. I don't care where Pete Carroll goes. I mean, I do, but again, this dude's, they're talking about Bill Belichick aging out in the coaching world of the NFL. I don't hate that. Listen, this is a new game. It's an innovative game, and some things that worked 20 years ago might not work again right now. So coaching movement galore there. We'll see what happens. Like I said, follow me over the at RotoBuzz Guy over the course of the spring and the summer, and we'll see what happens with all of this coaching movement. I'll, of course, have it all for you in the Fantasy Alarm Draft Guide. Last note before I bring in my boy Ryan Stasik, can we please get rid of this Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers feud? This has gotten disgusting now. I'm not gonna. It's gotten disgusting, and listen. All right. So first and foremost, Jimmy Kimmel started it. And that's fact. Jimmy Kimmel started it. He started, critiquing Rodgers for lying about the COVID vaccine, called him a tinfoil hat wearing, freak, talking about UFOs. And, Rodgers came out and said on the Pat McAfee show that, UFOs were being discussed as a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein list that's going to come out. And then, so Rodgers turns around and he's like, well, yeah, that list is coming out. I sure hope Jimmy Kimmel's not on it. And then Kimmel went bonkers, because the last thing anybody wants to be associated with is Jeffrey Epstein and that list. So did Rodgers cross a line saying that, that list is going to come out and Jimmy might be a little worried about it? I don't necessarily, listen, if Kimmel's going to sit there and rip him for, his beliefs in science or not beliefs in science, if he's going to call him a tinfoil hat wearing, conspiracy theorist, you got to take the punch. Was the Jeffrey Epstein punch a little too hard? Maybe. But doing this back and forth on social media, it's garbage. It's garbage. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've lost respect for Rodgers, long time ago, but I've lost respect for Jimmy Kimmel on this one too. And I used to be a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, right? This is not your feud with Matt Damon where it's all laughing and joking and secretly it's lollipops, rainbows, and sunshine. This is a deeper issue. And you guys are airing this out in public. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I want that out of here. All right, let's bring in my guest today. He is one of my absolute favorite human beings. He is part of the Jam On Fantasy Football League. Look at how handsome he is right there. The bassist from Umphrey's McGee. He also plays with Domingo. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it in for Ryan Stasik.
Howard, the champ is here.
The champ is here. Look at that jersey, wearing the bus. How psyched are you about your Pittsburgh Steelers? Let's talk about. I mean, let's just jump in because you're one of like the biggest Steelers fans I know. So to have this moment here, talk to me.
Well, I mean, you got to believe it. It's the NFL. It's not college football. You're going to lose some. You're going to have some soft streaks. You have to get it together. You got to stay healthy. We're in. That's what I'm excited about. And in all honesty, I'm glad it's the Bills. I'm really hoping that the Josh Allen who throws 2 turnovers and makes some mistakes, I hope that's the guy that shows up and gives us a chance. Mason Rudolph is a third stringer that has sucked it up and stood there and put in his work, and this is his time to shine. And I want to see him shine more, and I want to move on.
Are you buying into this? So my producer over at SiriusXM has nicknamed Mason Rudolph the Dragon, talking about this now being in the Chinese calendar, the year of the Dragon. I know you got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. You're going to probably run hard against the Bills because that's probably what your best bet is, to run hard against the Bills. But talk to me here, possible weather conditions. Is Mason Rudolph going to be able to carry the water?
I don't know what the weather is. It can't be worse than it was in Buffalo. But yeah, we're going to pound the rock. It's been better than ever. I think the last 4 games, Najee's been running with a chip on his shoulder. I have that other jersey for Sunday, so I'm excited for that. It's nice to have Warren, who's always punishing people and teaching everybody in the team to play smash mouth Pittsburgh Steeler football. And Mason's been throwing ropes. I mean, he's hitting Pickens, he's hitting Deontay. If he can continue to do that and Freiermuth gets open in the middle of the field, we have a chance. I already sent you my prediction during the fantasy alarm, 24-21 Steelers, and it's going to be because of defensive turnovers. Highsmith's going to show up. I don't know who's coming in for what. Maybe Nick Herbig shows up, the Wisconsin boy, and he has a time to shine. But we get Kazi and Minka back, and now that we have our safeties back, that's a big difference for us,
Is Minka back? He's 100% coming back.
I read this morning that both Minka and Kazi are back. Right. I hope so.
TJ Watt just going to stand on the sidelines, be the best cheerleader he can possibly be?
That is such a tough loss because, in my opinion, I don't know how he gets snubbed on any list ever as not one of the top 4 edge rushers. To me, I agree with Tomlin. I agree with his brother. He's the best defensive player in the game right now. The guy's a monster. He's a monster.
So 24-21 Pittsburgh. I tell you, man, that's tremendous. And then, well, let me just, let's dream a little bit here, right? We can do like the old Wayne's World.
I'm a dreamer, Howard. You know that. Glass is half full. Glass is half full.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore would be your next matchup because Pittsburgh being the lowest seeded team, how do they match up against the Ravens?
We already know how they match up against the Ravens. We did it twice. Luckily, the first time Lamar threw great passes and none of their receivers could catch anything. So maybe that'll happen again. I know it's crazy to beat the Ravens, the second best team in the NFL, 3 times in one season, but we did it twice, and we did it with I think that's where Kenny Pickett got hurt. Maybe I can't remember. We got made. I mean, it can happen, and I'm a believer. And I also think the Dolphins are going to upset the Chiefs. I'm taking the Dogs, baby.
I like the Dolphins upset and the Chiefs also. I feel like that ground game there, Achane plus Mostert, kind of trumps the Pacheco. Not to mention the fact that Mahomes doesn't have a single guy who can catch a pass.
Yeah. And this is also so you guys all don't think that I'm just a biased dreamer of all Steelers. I do think we beat the Ravens, but in my bracket, I took the Dolphins playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So I didn't pick my team to go all the way, but I did pick us to upset the Bills and upset the Ravens again.
Damn, I like it. I like it. So upset Central in the AFC. Do the Browns beat the Texans too?
I don't like the Browns. Obviously, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm older now, so I do root for the AFC North, but I'm not going to do it. I don't mind that Flacco's back there, but I think Houston gets it done there.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. For those of you who don't know, again, Ryan Stasik, he is the bassist for Umphrey's McGee. He also side projects with Doom Flamingo, Death Kings. Do you gig with anybody else?
Here and there, I like to get around.
Just kind of it's like the hard edge metal. It's the punk. I love the fact that, you bring all of that. Like we sit there and we talk about like jam band music and everybody just kind of has their idea of jam band music. Umphrey's definitely has a harder edge than say, Disco Biscuits, Fish, or, Goose or anything like that. Is that all like, are you all kind of, where are the shared influences, that kind of keep you guys with a little bit more of an edge?
I think the reason Umphrey's is so different and so ADD is that there aren't as many shared influences. All six of us come from very different backgrounds. The drummer has his masters in jazz. Jake and I like the heavier stuff from the Pantera and the classic rock. Brendan is a acoustic folk guy. He likes the Beatles. He likes Indigo Girls. That's his jam. And Farrag's the hip hop beat guy. So we've got it coming from all different sides. So I think that the maybe Frank Zappa might be the united influence that brings us together. Why we like the conducting and turning on a dime from this genre to this genre, from this to this, and I call it kind of organized chaos. Now in Doom Flamingo, that's where I get my dirty sexuality out, and then Death Kings, that's my anger when I want to throw a punch. You have a lot of characters that need to come out. So music is that's how I get it out.
If you could pick, listen, jams go in a million different directions throughout. I've been to a ton of shows. If you could pick one song that kind of blends the different influences the best together, or like where you guys or do you just kind of just sit there and just when you're jamming out on a song, it's like, wherever it takes us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, everybody's a quarterback with a little play card on there. So whoever's calling the plays or any audibles, it could be baseball too. We might phone in the lefty, So everybody has the right to take the jam wherever they want to take it, and it's really up to what's happened that day, what the crowd's responding to, what we were listening, maybe what we ate. Who knows? Something's going to influence where those jams are going to go, but I can't predict how or when it's going to happen.
Now, an interesting thing, we talk about this in fantasy football world, running back by committee. You guys going through something right now as a band. Chris Myers, shoulder surgery. You guys are going drummer by committee right now with some insane names from Trucks to Bonham, like joining you guys up, joining up with you guys and playing with it. How has that been so far for you guys? How do you see it moving forward? When is Chris due back?
I'm in Charlotte right now, and Chris is back. He's fully recovered, and it is the six of us. We're on tour. These next 4 shows, the rest of the year is all with Chris. But while he was gone, we played with 17 different drummers. And real quick, playing with 17 different drummers as a bass player was a very beautiful, very academic, very challenging, very rewarding life situation. Living with them on the bus, figuring out how they learned our original compositions, how they react to it, what their dynamics are, where they went with jams, where their comfortableness was. So all of that was a wonderful learning experience. But we're very happy. I think Chris is in the shower right now. We're very happy to have him back, and we're going to start.
Let's walk in there. Let's
get a view and ask him see how that shoulder's really doing. Yeah.
We just want to see the scar. We just want to see the surgical scar. That's it. Right? Just keep the camera up. Don't bring it down. Keep the camera up. So when you guys are out here in, I believe, March, and out here, I mean the West Coast, San Francisco, I think you guys are playing the Warfield.
Yeah, March. I mean,
Is
it's
it the
all on it.
Warfield or the Fox Theater in Oakland? The last time, and I think I have a wonderful picture of this. The last time that yeah, there it is. The Fox Theater in Oakland. That was circa 2017. Look at those kids, so young, so handsome.
Yeah.
That was the Jam on Fantasy Football Trophy presentation when I won. We did that there. Do I come back to you again, Ryan, or do I share the love here and maybe hit like a Mo show or a Disco Biscuit show and get one of those clowns to present me my trophy this year?
Clowns, that's fun. So Howard, you know that I have never hoisted this trophy. You have. Maybe hoist your favorite fish record. I don't know the amount of times you've hoisted it, but I'm the veteran of giving people the speeches and congratulating them. If you want to get one of these rookies in there, like George or Al or Bisco, if you want to get that Bisco crowd, maybe you want to celebrate in front of different faces there too. I don't know. That's up to you. But if you want to come do it with me, you know I'm a people pleaser. I'm a veteran. You can count on me. I'll be there.
Well, listen, I'll say this. Your crowd, like the Umphrey's fans were very welcoming about it, very cool about it. I went back to my spot and hung out with my wife for the second set, and I had the trophy. I had people coming over to me, introducing themselves. It was a great time. I presented Brownie with his trophy in Las Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah.
Biscuits fans were not having it. They were like, I mean, aside from the fact that the set break probably went a little too long and people were getting impatient.
Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional.
I walked out on stage to present the trophy, and you could hear like a pin drop, except for one dude being like, "Get off the stage, dick."
See, when you were with me, I remember looking over and you were signing babies and people were throwing bras at you. I mean, it's up, which one are you going to choose?
I was a regular Tom Jones, wasn't I?
Yeah,
wasn't
you were.
I?
Those tight leather pants.
All right. So how's everything going for you? Like how is the new year, ringing in the new year, everything that's going on for you, your life? I mean, listen, you're the ultimate girl dad. Right, you got two beautiful babies, and I mean, how's everything else going? How was your
Good.
New Year's?
New Year's was great. New Year's was a little bit of a blur, and I'm trying to go back and listen even because I don't remember a lot of it. We had 4 different drummers, including Chris, to come back and play after the ball dropped. Our 4 horn players and like 10 new songs, and then changing drummers and everything. It was a lot of rehearsing and playing and stuff. So I kind of got lost in the moment, and I don't recall. It was fun though. And then I took my kids skiing, my wife and my daughter skiing. They're 5 and 10, so they're growing up now, but seeing them buzz down the mountain I grew up a skier, so that was a moment for me. Had them in ski school for a day, and they're crushing it, man. They're really into it, and now tour starts, so I'm ready to get back into the swing of things with what my routine is on the road, and trying to be a healthy 47-year-old man and a rock star at the same time. There's a balance there that I'm trying to figure out. So I'm all in it, and I'm one day at a time is kind of my approach. I'm excited to do this, and then I'm going to go rehearse and have our first show back in 7 months with Chris Myers, a first full show since July 15th. So there's a lot of excitement building up there to share the stage with him for a whole show. So
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been it's been all this time in the making and coming back. And when is that first show?
Tonight, 8:30, Charlotte.
Tonight, 8:30,
Yeah.
Charlotte. I had no idea it was tonight.
Yeah, man. Already hit the gym, had 2 coffees, good poo. I'm ready.
You're awake. You're ready. You're rested.
I'm ready.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. Hey, did I see, by the way, now your older daughter, who's 10 years old right now, which boggles my mind. Like you and I mean, I guess, the Jam on Fantasy Football League started in like 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was just a baby. She was just a baby. And did I see a picture of her on stage with the mic?
Yeah, she's in the School of Rock, and she had a tight 5. She sang 5 tunes with the School of Rock as a lead singer. That's what she's choosing to do, and she can actually sing. She doesn't get it from me. She doesn't get it from her mom, so it must be in the grandparents' blood somewhere. But she loves it, and it's really, it's really fun, and God, I'll tear up. Fun for me to watch her enjoying it so much.
I was
That's
just
the
gonna
beautiful
say,
thing,
like,
man. She
how does
loves it.
that, I mean, to know that your daughter wants to follow in dad's footsteps and be a rock star.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. We'll see which footsteps she takes, but she's definitely into it. She's definitely into it too. She's got the acting and drama bug too. So we're looking at some school of arts that they do offer in Charleston. And I was like, man, I wish they offered that when I was a kid as an option. So kind of pushing that with her too. I think that's a very unique and awesome opportunity down there in Charleston, South Carolina.
Are you raising the next Taylor Swift?
No. I mean, I don't know. That's a nice paycheck. I don't know.
Right? Maybe you retire a little bit.
We're more Pink fans in our house. Not knocking Taylor Swift. I don't really listen to a lot of it. They don't listen to a lot of it either. But they definitely bump Pink. We listen to a lot of Pink.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, you said the acting bug too. I know Taylor did some acting as well back in. Did a couple of rom-coms.
I wouldn't know, Howard. I wouldn't know.
What do you mean you wouldn't know? Why wouldn't you know?
I'm unaware of that. I did not know that she
Come
acted.
on.
I swear to God.
How,
no lies
really?
here.
I just assumed everybody knew everything about Taylor Swift with the way it's been running rampant through the NFL. I mean, I know that there are people out there, as she put it, the dads, Brads, and Chads who don't like her involvement in there. But I mean, I think I think it blends nicely. I think it expands the audience. I mean, you're not a Chiefs fan, obviously, but I'm sure you've drafted Travis Kelce. Is that what's bringing you down?
It might be, man, because in my Umphrey's league, which is a big money league, I, like an idiot, it's 12-man league. I was like, you know what? I've never done this before. I'm taking Kelce and Mahomes in my first 2 picks, and I did it. And I ran into a little bit of the injury bug. We're also a league where Joel, our keyboard player, insists that we have kickers. And the last game of the season, Gay from Indy got me -3, and I lost by 1 point to not go into the playoffs. So I'm a little bummed on my little Patty Kelce combo in those first 2 picks. I'll never, ever do that again. I'm a little salty from the jam on fantasy football. I mean, I had Chubb. It's my first pick. That crushed me. It's just, I know it's all part of it. You get over it and you move on, but that was tough. That was tough.
Forever a bridesmaid in the Jam On League.
Oh.
What are we going to do to get you over that hump, man?
Well, I did win 2 big money leagues this year, so I'm okay. I made the monies, so I'm okay with that. Next year, I think my strategy, and I'll say it here because we have that 3 wide receiver. I'm going wide receiver strong right out the gates. I'm taking the best wide receivers off the board, and I'm going to get my running backs later and off waivers. If our commissioner would change the damn waiver wires to a fab, $100 fab. We all know how to do that.
I would love to
do that.
I would love to
do that.
Every time I bring it up, we got the crybabies out there.
Well, send the crybabies over to me. We'll talk. All
right, well, there you go. Everybody hates Ari Fink right now anyway, so we might as well throw him under the bus because he's not a fab guy.
Blame Ari. We'll just blame Ari. Hey, I do have a story about Jerome Bettis. So I went to Notre Dame, a huge Steelers fan. He's my favorite player. I fly American Airlines, so I always get the upgrade. And I was on a flight from Detroit to Chicago, and I'm sitting next to the trash can, and he comes over to throw some away, and I'm like, the bus? I'm like, no way, it's Jerome Bettis. And as we get on the plane, he's stuck back in coach, and it was packed coming in, and I told him, I said, hey man, I lived in the same dorm as you at Notre Dame. You have brought me so much joy with Notre Dame and Pittsburgh football. Would you please just take my first class seats and I'll go sit back there with the hoi polloi? Please take it. He was like, no, man, it's okay. Thank you so much. I'm like, Jerome, please. And he wouldn't take it, but I was willing to give up the upgrade for that man. He's a stud.
You should have just gone back to his seat and been like, listen, I'm going to sit in this seat anyway. I can either sit in your lap or you can go up to my first class seat, but I'm taking this seat right now.
Yeah. I don't know if I had the guts to sit in his lap, but
that would have been that's the content I'm here for. I want to see that indeed. Listen, I love it. Absolutely love it. One of the other things that I know that you love is Burt Reynolds. I know that you know, yeah, you had the Trans Am, the T-top black Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am parked out front. And so I like to play a little game with all of my guests on this show. Are you ready to play a little game with me here, Ryan?
I'm always ready.
All right. Well, this is a little game that we like to call Burt or Berg.
Ah.
Yoy, yoy, triple yoy, triple yoy, and the stairs.
Myron Cope.
Almost quadruple yoy.
All right. So here we go, Ryan. This is gonna really we're gonna test your allegiances. Now I'm assuming you've got like a Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson t-shirt under that jersey, so it's gonna make it a little bit more complicated for you.
Okay.
All right. So you have to pick something. You have to pick one item, right? And you have to burn the other.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna hurt you a little bit. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Burt Reynolds' original helmet from The Longest Yard, or a Super Bowl game-worn Jack Lambert helmet?
Oh, I'm keeping the Lambert. I'm burning the fake one.
You're burning historic memorabilia. All right.
Well, they're both memorabilia. I'm gonna take Lambert.
All right, Lambert it is. Number 2. Let's see. I'm gonna see. I now that you know, like that was such a no-brainer for you. I'm a little concerned that everything's going Pittsburgh here.
Well, unless I'm burning Trans Ams, you know, that ain't happening.
There you go. By the way, shout out to my producer Adam Bernard, who brought to my attention that Burt or Berg sounds even better if you're doing a Swedish chef impression.
Bird.
Question number 2. Stroker Ace's stock car or Myron Kopp's original terrible towel?
All right. Did you just call it cop? Because it's Myron Cope. So I might have to take that towel and strangle you with it.
Sorry, it's my California accent.
Yeah, you hippie. Have we learned nothing about disrespecting the Yinzer towel? Hushman, whatever your name is, doing his cleats. What happened? Almost ended. Is that Carson Palmer's career at that time? And then the Jacksonville Jaguars were dancing around, taking our towels. And what happened to them? They lost 5 or 6 and got us into the playoffs. Burn the car, wave the towel. Let's go.
Burn the car, wave the towel. I'm writing that down. That's going to be my food for thought on today's show. Burn the car, wave the towel. Number 3, a lock of hair from Burt Reynolds' iconic mustache, or a lock of hair from Troy Polamalu's luscious locks.
Okay, now this is weird, but I like it. I feel like I've been dissing Burt and all Berg here. So Troy and his Pert Plus hair can burn. We'll see what the chemicals do. And I will take a nice little lock of that iconic mustache from Sir Burt.
All right. Finally, one for Burt.
Hey.
All right, here we go. One of these never happens. Smokey and the Bandit or the Immaculate Reception?
Well, luckily we had a bunch of Smokey and the Bandit, so I can let one go.
No, whole series. Whole series.
Oh, the whole series?
Whole series. Smokey and the Bandit never. You can't have Smokey and the Bandit 2 if Smokey and the Bandit 1 never comes out.
Okay. But if we don't make the catch against the Raiders, we don't win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl. So, you know, I'll watch Burt's other movies. Give me the catch.
No, you can only watch Evening Shade reruns. That's it. That's all you get. All right, bonus question here for you, Ryan. Burt Reynolds gets an Oscar for Best Actor for any movie you choose, anything, right? But Joe Montana decides to go to North Carolina State instead of Notre Dame.
Oh my goodness! You know I'm a domer here. I want to give Burt Reynolds his Oscar. Let's give him his Oscar.
No.
I'll be all right. I love Joe Montana, but he went to San Francisco and he won Super Bowls there. He didn't win them for the black and gold. So I have love for the Irish, but Burt, he got a little more, jaded in his older years, maybe he would have been a little less jaded if he had that Oscar. So let's give it to Burt.
All right, Burt.
I like to jump in.
Couple of there. All right, so Burt's got his Oscar, and you got a pocket full of his mustache. Well, that's fantastic. Well, Ryan, I don't want to keep you from a naked Chris Myers possibly walking through this room.
Hey, now.
Or the fact that you got to go rehearse. You got a big show tonight, dude. I am so excited for you for this show tonight. Welcome back, Chris Myers. This one's going to be a blast. What's the venue in Charlotte?
I don't know. It's on an app that I have in my phone. I'm a bass player, man. I just got to make sure I used to just have to make sure I made what state I was in. Now it doesn't matter. Everything's on a computer magic thing. So
pure rock star, right? Somebody tells you where to be and when to be there, and that's all you got.
I'll be there.
Somebody's going to bring you there. Well, that's fantastic. Well, dude, have an amazing show. Thank you so much for joining us here today, man. It's always great to get to hang with you for sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and congratulations again for winning. Hopefully next year with my new draft strategy, I'll be able to hoist one of those. But multi championships for you. What's that say?
I forgot. What do you mean? What does that say?
Oh, Sam, there it is. Brought you that down from Alaska. My God.
I didn't want you to think that it wasn't in the regular rotation of T-shirts, man. This is one of my absolute favorite. Yeah. Can I, you know what? I know I was going to let you go, but can I ask you real quick? Because you guys have traveled to Iceland to play. You guys are up in Alaska playing there. Like, I mean, how amazing is it to travel to these real, let's face it, they're obscure places for just a regular tour.
Yeah. So I was laughing with my wife. I said, I have been to all 50 states now, and I have gigged in 47 of them. We have not done Hawaii, Wyoming, or South Dakota. So I was like, maybe we should do a road trip, and I'll just get my bass and at a gas station, put it out and play a tune, and you can come put $5 in it. Does that count as a gig? Try to knock these off. But more importantly, I told management we do need to play Hawaii. Stat, and I think that I don't know, maybe Jackson or there's a college town in South Dakota, right?
I don't know, man, but I could set you up over at the Rocky Knolls Golf Course in Custer, South Dakota, if you want. You can do a show there, play a round of 18.
Does it get much better?
I don't think so.
Let's go.
I don't think so. Ryan Stasik, everybody. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us here again. Absolute pleasure to get a chance to hang with you. Enjoy the gig tonight. Have a great time. Break a leg, all that other stuff. Good luck with your Steelers, my friend. I'm going to fingers cross it for an upset for you.
Yeah, I mean, one of these underdogs has to win, right? One of them's got to win. Why not be the Steelers?
Why not? Why not? Why not Mad Chaos and all the underdogs win?
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Ryan Stasik, everybody. Put your hands together for him. Going to be a great show tonight over in Charlotte. You're going to have to, just go online and see if you can get a webcast or something fun from that. So always great to get to hang with them. Oh, I'm finding out now that it's the Fillmore is where they're playing here in San Francisco. Do I want to get my trophy?
In Charlotte tonight, the Fillmore.
Oh, it's the Fillmore in Charlotte tonight. Adam Bernard, you are the man. Oh, Skinny McKinney said that over there. Look at that. Look at the whole crew here. That right there, by the way, is the Gem on Fantasy Football Trophy for anybody who wants to know. That one right there. The only people who didn't get one of those was last year. How about this? So last year, I've got to get little participation trophies for last year. The Damar Hamlin situation, the Bills, the Bengals, and how that just ruined fantasy championship week. Just who's doing what. The guys agreed. I think it was Chris Weaver, Chris Kuroda, and Brad Sands. Chris and Brad share a team. Weaver has another one. They wanted to share the trophy. I wasn't getting 3 of those. They certainly weren't getting 3 of those. So if they didn't want to abide by the rules and just play it out, well, then they're only going to get little participation trophies. That big Mama Luke over there, that's what's coveted. That's what it's all about. All right, let's wrap things up here on today's show with our final 5. And here we go. Our final 5 top moments for the wild card. Let me bring in Adam Bernard for this one here. so that we can kind of hang out and just talk through these. Number 5, we're going to go 5 through 1 here, as we usually do on the show. Number 5, right? This is the Steelers 23-20 win over the is that number 5? Where is that?
It was the Broncos 29-23 overtime win over the Steelers.
Tim
the Tim
Tebow,
Tebow
the
game.
touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. May he
Rest in peace.
Yeah, you like this one here. I was a big Demaryius Thomas fan, right? And I'm glad that we didn't show this to Ryan when we started talking to him. I hate Tim Tebow, dude. I can't stand it.
I didn't like Tim Tebow mania either, but you got at the time you had Tebow mania was at its peak, and then he comes in on the first play of the game in overtime, an 80-yard strike to go to the next round. That was just that was a huge moment right there.
It was definitely a huge moment. I love the momentous stuff, whether it causes an upset, it causes chaos or not. I definitely dig that. Number 4, the Colts complete the second largest comeback in NFL history, overcome a 38-10 second half deficit in 2013 to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That is, that was historic for the Colts.
That's one of those games where I remember where I was when I watched it. I think it was the first game of the weekend of Wild Card weekend on a Saturday. And it was all right, great. Here we go. Colts are getting killed, bad game. And then all of a sudden the second half just started going. And it was yeah, what a game.
What a game. Absolutely. Look at him just reaching across like that. That was just, that was crazy. That was crazy. How could you not root for the Colts at that point? That was a team that everybody had to root for, right? It was just so good.
When a comeback is possible of that deficit, I think everybody but rival fans of that team are rooting for it at that point, because you want to see history,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right. Number 3. Here's one for the Steelers. Their 17-point comeback to beat the Browns in 2003. And you want to shout out a specific somebody, don't you?
For 2003, and that's one thing that's annoying about these is it's technically the 2002 wild card, even though the game occurred in the calendar year 2003. That is one thing that NFL figured that out. Who did I want to give a special shout out to? I don't even remember right now.
How about Tommy Maddox?
Tommy Maddox, that's right. The only XFL MVP ever from the original form of that league. But yeah, he was the one that led the comeback in that one.
He was the one who led the comeback. So anytime you can get a Tommy Maddox reference, that should be that's the drinking game right there. If you can successfully interject a Tommy Maddox shout out into any show, cheers, salud.
And that was peak Browns right there. You talk about franchises that just know how to lose, the Jets being one of them, the Lions, the Browns right there. Just you have a chance, you have the, your division rivals 2 hours down the road that you hate on the ropes and you can't finish it off.
Number 2 on our list, it is the Music City Miracle, Bills, Titans, 1999 AFC wild card. We can RIP Frank Wycheck as well. Dude, that dude was locked into my fantasy teams in the late 90s. I used to love having Wycheck as my tight end at that point. If you couldn't get yourself a little Tony Gonzalez, that's where you went.
A little McNair Wycheck stack wasn't a bad way to go either at that point.
Yeah, that was great. And again, Bills lose.
This is another one of those where I remember I was in my basement with my dad watching this game, and I remember let's answer the big question: was it a lateral or was it a forward pass? Because the angles, leave a little bit of room for it's real close, but yeah, they weren't overturning that. If those refs overturned that, they would have gotten murdered on the way out of Nashville, whatever stadium they played in back then.
Yeah, you just let it go, let it happen. It was an unbelievable moment for the Titans. Just let it go. But our number 1 moment in wild card history, here it is, biggest comeback in NFL history. The Houston Oilers take down the Buffalo Bills. In 1992, everybody took down the Buffalo Bills at some point or another in the early 90s. But here you go. 1992 AFC wild card. And this was this was crazy. This was an unbelievable finish, unbelievable comeback. How the Bills managed to like come back and do this is beyond me.
Not even just come back, but come back with your backup quarterback, which I believe Frank Reich up to that point also had the biggest comeback in college football history. I think the record's been broken since then, but he had that on his resume as well. Comes in. I mean, I remember watching this game too, and I loved Warren Moon as a kid, so this was a little bit heartbreaking for me to watch. You know, I mean, Warren Moon was always a good quarterback. He just never got deep enough in the playoffs, but he was always there. He was there a lot, and this was a tough one to watch.
Did you enjoy that time period when you had all of these like unbelievable superstars on every other team except for the Jets?
I mean, in that era, that's why Barry Sanders, one of my favorite athletes of all time, Warren Moon, one of my favorite, because if you look at the Jets at that era, what were they doing in that era? Yeah, they were Bruce Coslett. They were Richie Kotite. They were Browning Nagel at quarterback. Remember that one? You want to play bingo?
Play bingo. You know, I mean, you just bring up Richie Kotite, which that's a sensitive issue for me, actually, because I mean, we're sitting here right now and they're talking about how, you know, the Eagles, you know, collapsed this season when they're 1-5 in their last 6 games. And they start equating it to the year that the Jets lost like their last 5 straight games. Didn't they? Wasn't that the year they fire Pete Carroll to bring in Richie Kotite?
See, I thought the 5 straight was the fake spike year. I thought
was that in 85? Was that 85?
That was 94. So yeah, 85 was Pete Carroll was 94.
Pete Carroll was 94. The Joe Walton was in was in the 80s with
that was 80. Yeah, Joe Walton, the nose picker.
Joe Walton. This is Joe Walton.
That's what they fired Walt Michaels for.
That was like our little. They fired Walt Michaels for picking his nose.
No, they fired Walt Michaels for the nose picker. I mean, if you were going to fire, if Walt Michaels got caught, if that's the reason he got fired and you didn't do it for Walton, like that's really like that's like having not a consistent strike zone there.
It never failed. I remember watching games with my dad growing up and wondering why did the cameras continue? Like every time the cameras are on that dude, he was picking his nose.
Well, I mean, I'm going to just throw I mean, yeah, maybe they don't have to put it on, but maybe it's one of those things where I don't know if you're a Simpsons fan a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where Mr. Burns gets all like the Major League All-Stars to come in and play and then
Mattingly, trim those sideburns.
Yeah, and Marge is filming the game and she's trying to film Homer, who's in the dugout, and she goes, "Lisa, can you tell me when your dad stopped scratching?" And like a few seconds go by, it's like, "Lisa, you can tell me." She's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know." It stops. So it's like kind of like that. If he's picking his nose all the time, when can you shoot when can you have like a shot of the coach on TV? It's constantly buried up there.
So buried up there. Well, all right. Well, there you go, guys. Those are our final 5. Those are our top 5 moments in wild card history here. Maybe history gets made again this weekend. We'll have to check that out. We've got all the coverage that you need over at fantasyalarm.com. All of our shows right here on the YouTube page. Check them out. Quick Outs, Alarm Fantasy Football. Tomorrow you've got Coop's Fantasy Fiasco. Brit's Blitz is on Mondays. So if you want the wild card recap there, she's going to take you guys through everything on Monday. But most importantly, thank you so much for stopping in here. Appreciate you liking and subscribing the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, this YouTube page right here for this show. I appreciate everything that you guys do. Happy New Year. Getting Buzz going to take it up numerous levels coming up next. Thank you so much for joining us here. The Better Sports Betting Show with Dan Servadidio. That's what's next here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. For Adam Bernard, I'm Howard Bender. This has been Getting Buzzed. We'll catch you next time.